On November 18, 1951, General of the Army Douglas MacArthur and his family arrived in Norfolk, Virginia. A distinguished graduate of West Point, a decorated veteran of World War I, and a former U.S. Army Chief of Staff, for the last 14 years, General MacArthur had served as military advisor to the Philippine government, led Allied forces in the Pacific Theater during World War II, headed the Allied occupation of Japan, and served as the first commander of the United Nations forces during the Korean War. He was, in a way, coming home to Norfolk, Virginia. Born in Little Rock, Arkansas on January 26, 1880, as the son of a career Army officer, he spent his childhood moving from post to post. Wherever his father's career took the family, for his mother, Mary Pinky Hardy MacArthur, Norfolk, Virginia was always home. The daughter of a prominent merchant in Norfolk, Pinky had grown up in the family home of River Edge, located in what is today the neighborhood of Berkeley. While pregnant with Douglas MacArthur, Pinky planned to return to Norfolk to give birth at River Edge. Her travel plans were foiled when Douglas MacArthur arrived early. Nevertheless, Norfolk's newspapers announced that Douglas MacArthur had been born while away from Norfolk. The bond between Pinky and her youngest son was strong. She was a major influence, encouraging him through his cadet years at West Point and then actively supporting his military career until her death in 1935. On his 1951 return to the United States, he was greeted as a national hero. Across the country, millions flocked to see him, and New York City held one of the largest ticker tape parades in history for him in the Canyon of Heroes. His November 1951 visit to Norfolk held the most meaning, though. During his visit, MacArthur recognized certain landmarks from the time he had spent visiting the city as a young boy, visiting his mother's family. Norfolk's leaders were aware of his deep affection for his late mother, and as part of his visit, he dedicated a new city park in honor of his mother. The Mary Hardy MacArthur Park was on the former site of his mother's girlhood home, River Edge, and the walls that surrounded the park were made of salvaged bricks from the house. MacArthur told Norfolk's leaders he felt as though he had come home. Norfolk's leaders did not forget. Many places across the United States were lobbying to be the future site of a museum and memorial to MacArthur. In 1960, the city of Norfolk entered this competition and made the general an offer no other city or organization could make. Norfolk's former city hall and courthouse building had recently been vacated. Norfolk's leaders offered the building to MacArthur as the site of a future museum and memorial. It was a prominent historic building in his beloved mother's hometown. The proposed venue honored his life and legacy, but it also paid tribute to Pinky. It was an offer he could not refuse. The MacArthur Memorial opened on January 26, 1964. Poor health prevented MacArthur from attending the opening of the museum in person, but in the speech that he had hoped to give at the dedication, he explained that the memorial's goal was to preserve the memory of the past while keeping an eye on the future. 60 years later, the MacArthur Memorial has served more than 5.2 million people from around the world. It has become an internationally recognized museum, research, and education center. As MacArthur's biographer D. Clayton James explained, Norfolk's MacArthur Memorial is unique, iconic, and significant. Unique in that it is the nation's only such municipal institution, similar to a presidential library in terms of form, function, and reputation. Iconic in that Norfolk, home to the world's largest naval installation, is also home to the memorial of one of the U.S. Army's greatest generals. And significant in that the memorial is a major tourist destination and the steward of one of the greatest military history collections in the world.